Your company doesn't matter, your boss matters a lot.
I didn't join LinkedIn to be an influencer. I joined LinkedIn to become CFO.
People are thinking that we have a competition in number of certification as well.
And you have to learn the business from the lenses of different departments. Person I hired knew FP&A, but I didn't know FP&A. So I had to learn to make it easier for them. I had to learn to explain it in a way that was easier to them.
We are trying to be part of FP&A, but who will run accounting then?
Once you have all the technical knowledge, all the technical skills, how do you become more strategic?
What do you think, what is the missing link in this kind of education system? So today we have a special guest from my LinkedIn network, and we met I think 3 years ago for one collaboration through LinkedIn, and that collaboration was very good. And we became friends after that, and I think we started our journey on LinkedIn on the same side. But Wassia is doing a lot of things. Wassia with me today. She is representing many women here. Anybody want to enhance their career in finance, so Wassia is the best example in front of me. She is currently working as a CFO. She is mother. She is coach. She is running podcast. She is running coaching. I was just going through her website. I found many things to discuss. So today we have Wassia as a special guest today. Welcome, Wassia, for this podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
You remember when we met last time 3 years ago?
Yes. Time flies.
Time flies. And I think you took this initiative, or I took this initiative to collaborate something. And you were also new in LinkedIn, and I was also new in LinkedIn. So we collaborated each other. And that was the beauty of social media.
Yes. Given all the things that are going on, it's amazing. And I think when we met, one thing that really stood out to me was me being in the US and you being overseas from me. I felt like we were working together because we're going through the same thing, speaking about the same challenges as being in finance. So it's great to definitely connect again.
And I think after 3 years, we're meeting again with a different platform in the podcast. Thank you so much, first of all, for your time. I know you have a list of activities in your life, and you are giving me 1 hour out of these activities.
I'll charge you later.
Okay, so Wassia, I will start from your journey. I saw your profile, and you started in 2008 from the very junior role, I think, tax associate. Then you moved to accounting part. Even you touched some accounting role as well. But today you are working as a CFO. But reaching to CFO is not easy job, you know. So I just need to hear from you. How's your journey started? What are the challenges you face? And what are the breakthrough you found to become CFO?
Sure. So I started out, like you said, right after college in accounting. I was an intern at PwC in audit, and I hated it. So from there, I went straight into corporate accounting and finance. I just happened to work for a technology company that was here based in the US, but Greek owned. So we were publicly traded in the Greek stock exchange. I was there for 9 years. Because the company was small and growing, I was able to wear many hats and try different things. And one of the things that really helped me was starting the FP&A function from scratch. So I, as an accounting manager, as I grew from staff accountant to accounting manager, I got to hire the first financial analyst. I got to start working on budget. I didn't have any FP&A background. It was like on the go, building Excel template, meeting with the general managers because we're a lottery gaming operator and we're serving multiple states. So we have offices in different states, different general managers there. So I started business partnering before even knowing what was FP&A or business partner or things like that. So towards the end, I realized that I really enjoyed the 25% of my role at the time that was FP&A. I was overseeing tax, AP, and everything in accounting, but I really enjoyed the FP&A part. So from there, I went to work 100% in FP&A at a pharmaceutical company. And from there, I started applying what I think a lot of people don't realize they need to do in their career, which is once you have all the technical knowledge, all the technical skills, how do you become more strategic? So as I started applying myself to those things and building my network accordingly, building my personal brand, not just externally on LinkedIn, but also internally as a potential executive. That's when I was able to land my first VP role, and then a second VP role, and now a CFO role. So it was really that switch in understanding that more certifications were not going to help. And you can see all the certification I got. That also more Excel modeling skills were not going to help. But what are those other things that you really need to build yourself up to become an executive?
So the breakthrough started when you choose FP&A role, right?
Yes.
But FP&A role is not easy. When you are transforming yourself from accounting to FP&A, there are a big gap between both the roles. And you have to cover up these kind of skills in the transit period. So somebody is moving from accounting to FP&A. If they will not change their mindset towards FP&A or business partnering, they will not successful.
Yes.
So how did you overcome these kind of things? Did you find any mentor or did you find any inspiration from anyone? What happened?
So I'm glad you asked, because it was a lot of learning by fire, really. So the advantage for me was that I was a controller. So I was an accountant, right? And I had somebody doing financial analysis working for me. So I was able to work with the CFO to refine my thinking, right? Because the person I hired knew FP&A, but I didn't know FP&A much. So you can see I was learning from my boss. I was learning from my employee.
Wow.
Yes, at the same time. And so I think it speaks to a lot of people think that you have to know all the things before you can manage somebody that has an expertise you do not have. But that's when you have built the leadership skills, then it's okay to have an employee that's much better than you in the area, right? Because I was able to learn from them, but I also was able to learn from my boss. And so when I moved to then a full-time FP&A role, it was easier and I was able to grow from there. But that was progressive for me.
But this is the sign of your leadership skill that you hired the person better than you.
Yes.
You need some courage to do these kind of things. It's not easy to hire the person smarter than you, and you did this.
Yes, it
And
helps.
And you open to learn from him. It was so amazing. How was the feeling of that guy? That did you convey this message to him that I'm learning from you, FP&A, or is still silent?
It's kind of silent. I'm like, we need help here. So how would you do this? How would you do that? And of course, leading people as a manager, your role is to understand the roadblocks you need to remove from them, understand how they want to grow themselves. So to my advantage, and it was a lady, and I was like, okay, what is it that I can do to help you? And let's help each other. Let's partner together, because sometimes it was just the two of us handling how many locations. So she will do one part, I will do another part. We will get together and agree on a strategy. She will be with me in meetings. I wasn't trying to be the only face. I had her as well in the meetings. And so when you put it as a partnership, then it's easier to manage somebody that's older than you. She was older than me. And it's easier to manage somebody that has more expertise than you. But you have to do it from a partnership standpoint.
So this is the point. We have two things parallel. One is FP&A, which includes some technical skills, including budgeting, modeling, financial, and one is your partnering skills. So which skills comes first? Which skills you need to learn first when you are jumping into FP&A? What is your experience on this? You have to become a partner first, or you have to become an FP&A manager first?
Oh, I think you need to do both at the same time. You need to learn the business at the same time as you're learning the numbers, right? So for me, I understood the numbers because I was the accountant. I did AP, I did AR, I did everything that brings the financial statements together. So it was easy for me to project because I knew how the data was coming together. At that point for me, it was the business part that I needed to understand in order to forecast the future. I already understood how the accounting system was working. I implemented the FP&A software there at that company. But for me, it was now understanding, putting myself in the shoes of the business leaders that I was helping to understand, okay, what is it that they're trying to see? Because of course, my first models, I look back and I'm like, ouch, it made sense from an accounting standpoint. It was big spreadsheets. And they were always confused, like, Wassia, what is this? And I was like, yeah, it makes sense. So I had to learn to make it easier for them. I had to learn to explain it in a way that was easier to them. But it wasn't my first, but by default, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You should be fine. Why are you not getting it? And it was like, that's not business partnering. So I
Uh,
had to refine my approach over time.
one of the thing I just need to discuss with you, because I also had this misunderstanding before, that business partnering is only linked with FP&A, right? This is a misunderstanding I had since long. And then I realized business partnering need every function, even this is
Yes.
AP or accounting and AR. So this misconception is there, I think. Do you believe it?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely. Because especially with AI technology and everything being automated, everybody needs to be a business partner. Like what the work that you do have to make sense for the company, for the business, and not just to you in your silo. And I think the more leaders are communicating it with their teams, the better we will be. The better we'll be at adopting, new technologies, but also serving the business better overall.
Yeah. Because I found many people, they are just jumping themselves from accounting to FP&A, accounting to FP&A. They are stuck. They are trying to be part of FP&A, but who will run accounting then? If everybody is work there. So
Yes.
this is a lot of misunderstanding in this community, that everybody want to become a business partner, and they are only linking business partnering with FP&A. They are not thinking they are dealing with suppliers, they are dealing with customers, they are dealing with different leaders in the company. So they can be a good business partner without having FP&A role. So
Yes.
they should focus on this.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
One thing, Vasi, I just want to discuss with you, that when somebody is starting FP&A career and he is joining the role, what is the first thing he has to initiate in the company?
Initiate? Oh,
Or
it should not
first thing I
initiate
can say,
anything.
first thing he has to start.
Yes. Building relationships. You have to
Okay.
build relationships. You have to learn the business, and you have to learn the business from the lenses of different department. So how you learn the business when you're in sales and marketing, the things, the KPIs, the objectives, the budgets are different than somebody who joined as a supply chain person. So when you join in FP&A, you have to understand all the different perspectives of all the department that bring those numbers together. Because when you look at your financial statements, they're just the result of a lot of actions that were taken throughout the company. So until you have those relationships and a good understanding of what's going on, it will always be hard for you to really forecast, to really understand what's going on, to really build scenarios that are not just working from an accounting standpoint or working from a sales and marketing standpoint. Being able to build models that work and are flexible enough to model all these different parts of the business. So I would definitely start with building relationships. You need to go out. Don't just wait on your chair and wait for the budget and say, hey, I'm here for the budget. Can you fill the templates? You should start by building relationships.
And instead of jumping into relationship management or business understanding, they jump into their ERP system, downloading trial balance, they are making reports, they jump into data immediately. And they forget what is the purpose of FP&A, building relationship, building trust, because people will not work with you unless they will trust you. And
Yes.
trust is the more tricky part. You cannot say anyone, please trust me. It will not work.
No.
It will not work. When you're starting your career, your company doesn't matter. Your boss matters a lot, because you will start your career with someone whose reflection will come to you immediately, especially
Yes.
in your first career job. Yes, when you get the experience, 5 years, 6 years, you can manage things. But when you jump into first time in any company, the boss is very important person in your life. He can
Yes.
make you and he can break you.
Oh,
I,
yes.
and I found many CFOs or many people, they are not good in attitude. Why? Because they started with someone who was not good in attitude. And that reflection remain in them. And it comes there when they work with different people. Especially, I remember in my country, we do chartered accountancy, and there is a process of articleship. You have to go into the companies and audit the companies. And that experience is very horrible, because we have to work very late night, weekends. And when they come out from that environment and somebody came new, they do the same punishment with them because they face this issue. Their boss did with them everything, and they want them to suffer with this kind of environment. And this is, I think, very common issue in the society, and this is amazing. So, Wassia, you started on LinkedIn, I think, 2-3 years ago, and I have seen you have around 27,000 following. So, if I ask you one question, what is the reason of becoming a CFO? Either your certification, or your personality, or your LinkedIn existence. What trigger you when you see some blogs? This is my blogs, and these are the contributor factor to become a CFO. Which one is the
Oh,
higher
wow.
one?
Oh,
Difficult,
well, the first one will be God, period.
definitely.
The second one, I think I had an idea of what I wanted to be. Okay, so when I started my career in accounting, I always wanted to be a CFO. Like being a CFO was what I wanted to do.
Oh,
And I started mapping out my career to be a CFO. When I joined LinkedIn, I didn't join LinkedIn to be an influencer. I joined LinkedIn to become CFO. I joined
great.
LinkedIn, yes. I joined LinkedIn to build an online presence, build my brand to be CFO. So I wasn't posting like everybody else. I wasn't doing cheat sheet like everybody else. Like I was networking in the background. I was optimizing my profile. I was posting the kind of posts that I knew a future CEO, my future boss, my future peers will look at and say, yes, this is a CFO. This is a person I want to work with. So my approach to my career, the people I've networked with, the things that I did were from that perspective. And plus, I didn't see anybody that looked like me posting about finance in on Facebook. So on LinkedIn. So I was like, why not? But everything I was doing when I joined LinkedIn was from that perspective. And sure enough, even when I wasn't posting much, a recruiter reached out to me for my first VP role. I didn't apply for that role. The role after that, I didn't apply for that role. The role I'm in now, I didn't apply for the role. I was
Wow.
reached out through LinkedIn. I was reached out through connections I made through LinkedIn. I haven't applied for a job on a job board in like at least 7 years. I haven't. But it's understanding that you have to build a network accordingly, whether it's online through LinkedIn, but also offline, the
Yeah.
conferences you're going to, the meetups, the connections you're making, the follow-ups, all these things add up at the end. But to me, it starts with having a clear picture in mind of what you want and what you want to be known for. Then the rest will
See,
follow.
so actually, when you started LinkedIn, you knew your why from the beginning.
Yes.
Why I'm here. It's not about posting. It's not about influencing. It's not about content creating. I wanted to become a CFO. That is amazing lesson actually.
Thank
People
you.
doesn't know why they are on LinkedIn. Either they are
True.
searching job, either they are posting, either they are reposting, liking,
Mm-hmm.
commenting. They have no idea they are spending years of years on this gold mine,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't have any idea what they can get from this platform today. Still,
Yes.
I face people and they are saying how we can start posting. There are a lot of people already there. How you will
Mm-hmm.
create the space? I said, don't forget about who is your audience. Or in this planet, everybody has the audience.
Mm-hmm.
If you write good, there is audience for good. If you
Yes.
write bad, there is audience for bad as well.
Very true. Very true.
For every content, audience available there. Your
Yes.
job is to start writing. And I was seeing only one person is writing on LinkedIn in the entire
Mm-hmm.
world. And
Mm-hmm.
you can see how much potential still we have on the LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I can see because now people are moving to video content, and that
Mm-hmm.
is very game changer for you if you are starting video content. It needs
Mm-hmm.
some kind of courage to face yourself and your writing recording video. It's not easy. I faced a lot of issues in the beginning as well to record the video.
Uh-huh.
So I think LinkedIn is a game changer now.
Oh, it absolutely is. And LinkedIn has opened. So, like I said, I came to on LinkedIn for number one, I wanted to be a CFO. Number two, I wanted to also be a voice in the finance and accounting industry for minorities as well. But for me, just entering LinkedIn, thinking about those two, now I have like 27,000 followers. I was invited to speak at at different places. I've been on webinars. I've been on the Wharton FP&A certificate program. I've been in places wasn't anticipating. I wasn't anticipating having like coaching people. I wasn't anticipating a lot of things that happened to me in those short 2-3 years. It's hard to believe we're in 2025, but I didn't expect all the things like meeting you, like meeting people from all over the world. I did a boot camp recently, and I had people from Hong Kong, people from Mexico,
Oh,
people from Canada signing up for my Office of the CFO boot camp. I mean, I was like, I didn't expect that. I didn't expect it at all.
so Vasya, you have 24 hours, right? Like we have.
Yes. Yes.
You have 24 hours. How much you sleep? How much hours? I think 7 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours, right?
Yep. Oh, I do
And
sleep.
and you spend 10 hours in your office, right? So
Yes.
these are 18 hours. 18 hours minus 24, how much remaining?
Just a few. Just a
Fewer.
few.
So the things you are doing, just teach me how you are managing time, your family, your kids, your kitchen especially, especially as a woman.
Sure.
You're running your
Yes.
kitchen, your family, your relatives, and your audience.
Yes. Yes.
How it is happening?
Oh gosh, I have so many systems for anything. First, I have a very supportive husband, but that doesn't mean he cooks. Okay, he can do other things. He helps the kids with like homework, with some
Okay.
activities. We kind of split the work there. But he's not the cook. Okay, he will grill every now and then, but no, there's a good African man, no cooking. I didn't get the one that came with cooking. But we are a great team. I think we're a great team for the kids. So for example, in the morning, I'm the one waking up the kids. They get ready, they go to the bus. He'll be the one picking the kids from school. So we
Okay.
we have systems. So while he's picking the kids from school, what do? I could be drafting a post, for example, on LinkedIn. I could be catching up on my emails from work. And so my daughter, for example, is now in volleyball practice. So she has volleyball practice Tuesdays from 5 to 6 p.m., for example. So while she's at practice, I'm in a gym doing what? I can pull up my laptop and connect. They were taking French lesson on Saturday morning. They're in the class. What do I do in the parking lot? I could be on a call. I could be coaching. I could be doing other things. I could be doing errands, picking up groceries. I have a virtual assistant to help me with a lot of other things like my podcast. And so everything is I know what I'm gonna do on Monday, exactly on Tuesday, when like my days are like scheduled. I know what's going on. I know how I block my calendar out when I have board meetings. I'm getting ready for this. I'm like, okay, forget every other thing. But the things you do not see that I blocked is that my posts on LinkedIn are scheduled. So
Ah,
even though I'm not on LinkedIn, my posts will go live 2-3 times a week. And it feels like I'm on the platform, but really, I just went and hit 2 likes and out to say that I was there. And so my days, my weeks, everything is really much into a system.
there are two things. I just need to touch this topic. There is work-life balance
Uh-huh.
and there is work-life integration.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you are doing, I think it's so difficult for you to focus on work-life balance.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Because I was discussing one person and he was very much, uh, uh, he was telling me that he don't believe on work-life balance. He
Mm-hmm.
believe on work-life integration because he said you should have one calendar.
Mm-hmm.
There should be not two calendar, office calendar and personal calendar. You should merge
Mm-hmm.
it if you
Mm-hmm.
want to utilize your time properly. So are
Mm-hmm.
you doing these kind of things integration or you are managing work-life balance?
Oh, I don't think work-life balance I don't know how you can balance work and
Yeah.
life. I think about boundaries
Okay.
more than balance or integration. There should be boundaries between your work and your life. For example, if for example I were to work 80, 90 hours a week, at that point the boundaries are out because now work took so much part of my on my week that I don't have time to spend with my 2 kids, with my husband. I'm not able to take care of myself. So I think more in terms of knowing where your boundaries are. I don't think you ever have a balance, but knowing when you say no to certain things because you want to protect your life. To
Yeah.
me, I always have like my life, my goals, all these things. I always wanted what I wanted to have, and I'm very fortunate I have both. I didn't have to give up having a family because I wanted to become a CFO, and I didn't want to crush my family because I wanted to be a CFO. So it had always worked hand in hand. I don't know that integration or balance is the right word. To me, it's just life
Oh.
and knowing what your boundaries are.
So, you are busy in coaching as well, right? You have your own website. You are part of some universities, I think AFP and Wharton. So, how you are managing your coaching? It's a full time, or you just going for some lectures online, or you physically there? How you manage these kind of coaching activities?
Oh, it's definitely all online. And it's not that much, actually. I have a limit. I don't accept more than 2 people a month. I don't. Because my schedule is in such a way that I cannot have more than 2 coaching clients in a month. I can't. So yes, it looks like a lot of different things at the same time, but again, they each have their boundaries and they each have their boxes. So for example, my podcast, I would record usually, for example, today is a holiday. So it's easy for me to book 2, 3 people on a holiday that will be then released weekly in 4 weeks. But really, all I did was one afternoon on a day off, recorded 4 episodes. Or on a Saturday, one on a Saturday morning when my kids are doing activities, and anyway, they don't need me around. So for me, like I said, it's again understanding your level of energy and and really optimizing your schedule accordingly. Because again, I want what I want. When I put my mind on something I want, I will work diligently to get there, even if it's just 1 hour or 2 hours here. But I'm going to make progress every single week towards the goal I want to.
When I see this environment, our environment, the environment is always kill your confidence. Whenever you go in front of someone, he will try his best to kill your confidence because he want to become a hero in front of you. And that is a challenge for the newcomers when they are going into professional life and they found better than them. And then so difficult for them to reach to this level because of their mindset. So self-confidence, self-awareness is very important.
Yes.
So see, if somebody want to start his career or her career in finance, Vasya, you have experienced MBA, you have experienced CPA, and you have experienced CMA. What is the main difference you feel in these kind of certification?
Oh gosh.
Which certification will feel you satisfied, or I can feel you good that yes, this is something I have done and that will work for me for next 10 years.
Oh gosh. So the way I should start with why do I have so many certifications? So the first certification I received was the CPA, and I was working on the company, like I said, and the controller left, and I was like, oh, they're going to pick me. And the CFO said, no, to be controller in this company, you need to have your CPA. You tell me this. I'm like, okay, CPA, here I come. So I went, thank God, passed the CPA exam. So I came in all proud. Yeah, I should be the controller now. I wasn't picked. And that's when I started understanding that just the certification by itself is not enough. Because then to me, I had checked one box, which was CPA, so pick me. And it wasn't, because I wasn't a good leader yet. I wasn't a good business partner yet. I wasn't ready in all the other human soft skills. Like I wasn't ready there. And so, yes, I had the certification, and yes, it's good to have, in our finance accounting one, let's say, but you don't need many. And if you have your one, make sure that while you're working on that certification, that you're also working on other skills, that you're working on your network, on your storytelling, on your leadership skills, on other things, because otherwise you have a string of certification like I did and still feel like your career wasn't really moving where I wanted to go. So
one certification is enough if you think like this.
Yeah.
Because you have to, because this is certification is one tick of your list. It's not
Yes.
everything. This
yes.
is a misunderstanding. People are thinking that we have a competition in number of certification as well.
Yes.
Because I have to write on my LinkedIn, I have to write my profile. When I will go at a certification, maybe they will ask, "Are you CPA?" If I say no, that will be so embarrassing. So I should say yes, I am CPA also as well. So this is misunderstanding. I think we also have this misunderstanding. Now we are learning that these things are something different because, when uh, I saw one graph few days ago where they were saying that in the first 5 years of your career, there are two areas. One is your technical skills and one is your soft skills. You have to start seeing the balance on this because when you start your career, this is not because of your soft skills. Start a career is because of your technical skills. So
Yes.
80% contribution comes from technical skills, 20% I can say soft skills. But after 5 years, when you're going into managerial role or some leadership role, then you cannot continue with 80% technical skills.
Yes.
You should shift your focus towards your soft skills as well. So how did you overcome this part in your life? Because you also started as an accountant and then you realized, no, this is good knowledge. I need it, but I need something else.
Yes, it started with the nose. Like I said, I thought I would get a promotion, and you feel like you're checking all the boxes, but really you're only checking the technical boxes. So that's when the no, being passed over for promotion, is really what made me go on that journey of, okay, what really makes people successful in this field? Because obviously it's not just certifications, because I was going through it myself. So I think I learned it the hard way, and that's why I'm always posting about how can you not learn this the hard way, but build it together. Understanding that one will not be enough long term. Like, you have to build your network, you have to build all these other skills, your emotional awareness, so many other things, your
Emotional
negotiation
intelligence, I
skills.
think this is one of the key factor that we missed all the time in our life. Emotional intelligence, because
Yes.
if you cannot work with others, you cannot work with you as well. You have to learn how to work with others, whether they are peer, your manager. This is a different art that is not taught to our education system. This is unfortunately, this is the issue we have right now in our system. So I just want to, I think how much time we have? I I think we already are going well. I think 1 hour is going very fast, very fast, very fast. So I'm just touching your podcast, Vasya. You are starting. I think you recently started a podcast. It's, I think, audio podcast. And how's your experience? How is going? What is the reason to start the podcast?
Yes. So I started the Diary of the CFO podcast in August of 2024. And I
Recent.
started it because I was a new CFO, and I realized that, okay, we don't really know how CFO becomes CFO. We don't always know the career. So yes, you can see the person background on LinkedIn, right? You can see the experience section of how they moved from one to two, like what are the steps. But until you have a conversation, you don't really know what helped them achieve that. And you also don't realize that there are more than one ways to also reach the role. And also, what does it take to thrive in the role? And so I wanted the podcast to not just be about me, but me also connecting with other CFOs and learn from them, because it's easier to say, "Hey, I want to invite you on the podcast," when I've been trying to talk to this person for like years, and now I have a good way of saying, "Yes, I just wanted to be on my podcast. I always wanted to talk to you." So it also helped me with that, but it also helps me talk, because I also have solo episodes where it's just me talking, but also have guests coming in and talking. It's not just CFO talking, executive coach, executive recruiters, really everybody that is really working with the CFO, not necessarily the CFO title, but understanding what is in the ecosystem of the CFO, not just the CFO as well.
So only CFOs are allowed in this podcast, or
No.
if somebody is not CFO?
Oh yeah, yes. You probably seen from a lot of the guests. Some of them are not CFOs.
Okay.
I had people that I had one of my best episodes so far has been one with Amy Selgrove. She's an executive recruiter,
Okay. Wow.
telling people what they need to do to position themselves when they're looking for a role. For example, an executive level role. So just trying to make sure that people understand the pathway, but also the people that they will need to work with, like an executive coach. How would that work for them in that process?
I think our education system, I have complained with this system because this education system we have, whether this is CPA, CMA, they are not helping us to become CFO. They're helping us to become a educated person. They are helping us to become hard worker. They're helping us to become a good accountant or finance professionals. But as a personality, they are not producing CFO.
No.
What do you think? What is the missing link in this kind of education system?
I think by design, not everything you will be able to learn in school. Like if we had to cram all the things you need to know in your career into 2, 3, 4 years of school, it wouldn't be enough. The other thing that we need also to realize is a lot of the people that are leading the classes, the teachers, a lot of them didn't necessarily have real world experience before teaching.
Exactly. This is the major problem we have.
So
You
it's a lot
highlighted
of
the right thing.
theory. So it's theory. So first, we don't have enough time, but even the time we have, it's taught by people and people writing the textbooks and people teaching that don't necessarily have the real world experience. So when you come into class, you are fed theory over theory, not necessarily the things that will work for you. Yes, the system could be more flexible because at least here, a lot of the textbook were using manufacturing companies, for example, as example, in the textbook, it was case study of manufacturing companies. What about SaaS companies? What about other areas? So yes, it could be done better, but I think it's the idea of theory over theory. It's just not there.
I think the system is producing only knowledgeable worker. They have full knowledge, they know IFRS, they know, but they are not producing the personality because the mechanism we have, the source of information is the teacher. And that teacher is teacher since the beginning.
Yes.
He doesn't have any exposure to become CFO or he is not coming from that kind of background. He cannot give you anything which he does not have it. So it's not his fault because he does not have it.
Yes.
That's why he cannot deliver you. And that's why mentor concept come in between. And mentor is the person who has the proper exposure of experiencing in working with the organizations as a CFO. And that part is very important in our life, I think.
Yes, and we don't realize it enough. And I'm glad to see. I've seen a lot more professionals going back to school and teaching in university. It's not a standard yet, but I think that will really bridge that gap between I only see theory and now now there is somebody that actually worked in the field that probably is retired. One of my mentors, Dave DeFreitas, is actually a retired CFO who is now teaching at a university. So I think more of if we realize as a profession that a way to give back to the next generation of leaders is actually, yes, once you retire or you reach a certain point in your career, can you go teach 2 hours a week in a program? I think that will also help.
I think this is one of our great responsibility. This is on us actually to guide the juniors who are newcomers. Then otherwise we will guide them. We will leave this world without this knowledge and that will be completely wasted. So why not we can transfer the knowledge to the new generation. They are coming into the profession. So this is our main responsibility because I used to do the free coaching 2-3 years and I have my own calendar. People connect with me. I talk to them every week and I feel so comfortable, so satisfied that I am sleeping well. I'm giving something because I'm a giver. You are working with a giving mindset. Money will come automatically when you are doing something good.
Yes.
But giving mindset is very important, which does not exist in this world now.
It does. It does. I have hope. I think we just need to provide people with a more of a platform. And I also realize a lot of people I guess a lot of people don't realize how much they can help somebody else. Because sometimes we're so into our daily work, we don't realize that you could be just 15 minutes or 30 minutes of your time with somebody starting out or answering somebody can really help. But it doesn't always add up, right?
Yeah, how many creators, how many influencers we have on LinkedIn. We need more, We can count on fingers how many we have on LinkedIn. We can see, we can realize that these are the people, they are helping people. Not everybody. I don't know where they are busy in some of their life. They should come into the front and they should start giving the people. So I think we are end of the session, Vasya. Any advice for the people like me or others we can learn from you?
I will say definitely work on understanding what makes a good business executive. I think that's often what we miss because being a CFO is a title. The reality is being a business executive, somebody that is really driving the business forward, that is not just thinking about the next 12-month budget cycle, but the long term, the sustainability of the company, of what they do. And I think the more people start thinking in terms of being good business executives, the better finance business partner, the better we will be at what we do.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you so much, Vasya, for your time. And it's a great podcast. I think we learn a lot, and I learned personally a lot from this podcast. And
Thank you.
it's always pleasure with you to talking. And how much energy you have, I can realize. You are handling so many things, and I wish you continue your journey better than before. And if you
Thank
need
you.
anything from our side, we are always available.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.